Joe, how are you, sir?
Good, buddy. How are you today?
Good, man. I'm well, I could use a nap, but that's every day. So
Yeah, it's like the more sleep you get, the more tired you are.
yeah, I wish I was getting more. I'm not. I'm just in this fucking cycle of 1, 2 in the morning, get up at 6 to take the kids. I do take a nap most days for 45 minutes or so, but it's just not. I have no business getting that little sleep at my age. So anyway, let me share screen here a bit. I'll take some run at some stuff. I have a new episode of Mission DeFi up today, which has been a long time sitting in my folder. Really great guy. This guy, Matt West, who's running for Congress, Democrat in a brand new Democratic leaning district in Oregon. Is a scientist and engineer at Intel in chip manufacturing facilities. Took a sabbatical to run for Congress. Also happens to be a Solidity dev who has been writing Yearn strategies for a bit now, and has been in crypto since like 2009, 2010. So full blown pure crypto engineer, scientist, Solidity dev, great guy. Really fascinating interview. Think you guys have a really good chance. So I really want to encourage everybody to take a listen and or watch the video at missiondefi.com and get to know him, because he seems to be just a really genuinely good guy and somebody that can do a lot for crypto because he can educate, speak to it. I mean, he is a true crypto insider. So anyway, check him out. Matt West out of Oregon, episode number 43 on missiondefi.com.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah. So DeFi Safety, my buddies over there, came out with their Frax review. They gave it a score of 81, which is actually really good in their scoring system. And they wrote, Frax Finance has been developed with good security in mind, and this protocol's massive $10 million bug bounty ensures that every inch of this protocol is measured for cracks. This is the largest amount offered by a protocol we have reviewed. Frax combines this with great Oracle documentation, earning them a place among the best. To improve, this protocol might consider elaborating when documenting its testing methodologies. This protocol's architecture is certainly complicated, so users should feel assured that Frax takes care to ensure there are no clear lines of fracture. Interestingly enough, I started converting some USDC that I was holding last night into Frax and then staking it in that pool we looked at yesterday on Spirit Swap at I think it's around 13-14%. But I figure if I'm going to have some stuff sitting on the sidelines, I might as well earn a little bit on it. So, you know me, I'm a big fan of Frax. I'm a big fan of Sam Kazemian. I've done 2 interviews with him. I think they have a lot of promise. So really glad to see this safety rating by DeFi Safety and see Frax do well.
So, what do you think about them in the sense of? I like the algorithmic stable coin angle.
Yeah.
Have you got any insight into how they set that?
Well, so this is Frax is actually partially collateralized, and it's based on their FXX token. And now I'm drawing a total blank on how the algorithm works. Hold on, it'll come to me. But I mean, it's just buy and sell pressure, right? It's minting to keep it to the peg. So it's minting when price gets too high, and it's buying and burning when price gets too low. The basic, theme of pegged stablecoins is you're producing more and reducing more, but it's a very complex algorithm. But now that FPI is coming out, I think it's going to make it even more interesting. I saw a post by Sam the other day talking about the fact that he thinks FPI will become a new form of stablecoin based on real life, true costs of living, as opposed to something pegged to any currency. And I think that's been his goal all along with that project, is to create something that people can count on no matter where they live for understanding value and pricing in their market.
So is that one going off of because inflation in the U.S. might be different from inflation in Botswana,
right? So starting with the first phase of it is they have set up oracles with Chainlink to track CPI data, right? So it's starting with US government CPI data, but the plan is to start implementing things like utilizing Amazon APIs or utilizing other pricing APIs in other countries to offset kind of the manipulation that happens in the US with the CPI. So I think that the goal is during the first year is to start moving in real price data, and then also taking in real price data related to things like rental prices, et cetera. So his long-term goal is to have a price index that is stabilized. Obviously it has to have a price, right? But to have it be something that takes into account data from all over the world and reflects proportionally what your price index would be versus what ours would be here. So it's a big giant goal, but this guy just doesn't stop cranking. And
because there's a lot of interesting. Yeah, when you think about it, so the price of something in a country that say manufactured is usually less than the price of something in a country that say imports it.
Yep.
So there's going to be a ton of arbing opportunities there across the board on it. And I'm not so if the inflation, let's say it started at $1. And so let's say inflation was 5%. Are you saying the price then turns to 1.05?
I don't know how they're starting the pricing and where they're starting the pricing, but it's supposed to be a price reflective of what the consumer price index is today, because that's what they're starting with. So what I would assume that the fluctuations in price will be related to the inflation, but I don't know the details.
And then across every country in the world and every location in the world. Yeah, that's an ambitious project. I kind of find it interesting because I know UST does it across an oracle across all the stable coins and goes against them, the DAIs, the USDCs, USDTs, et cetera of the world. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how this one plays out.
I should really go back in. I think I'm going to probably go back in and re-listen to my second interview with him where he talked about FPI and how it'll function. Yeah. It's episode 26. And if you just search on missiondefi.com for Sam Kazmian, he talks about it. I got to go back and re-listen to it because I haven't listened to it in a long time.
Well, it's different when you're running the interview versus just chilling and listening. Yeah. Because you're not really hearing, you're trying to find interesting kind of connect the dot points to make or query on versus really just chilling and absorbing it. Yeah. You said episode 26?
Episode 26 on Mission DeFi.
Cool. Yeah. I'll check it out too.
Cool. Let me see what else I've got here. Okie dokie. Just saw that crypto investment funds, even in this latest downturn, attracted another $36 million in capital. So I think that's an encouraging sign. It's one of the things you talk about a lot is that so much institutional traditional money is still probably coming into this market and is waiting to come in. So while $36 million isn't a lot in the grand scheme of billions of dollars, I think that these funds are growing and that more is happening is an overall positive sign, despite the pretty significant downturn.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not going to be like small retail. It's not going to be ultra high net worth money, but it's definitely people that would be throwing in $100 grand, 25 grand, 50 grand that aren't in. So to me, I think that's hugely positive.
Well, 36 million was for a week, so it was for last week. Inflows into these investment products. So that's really good.
132 a month. Yeah. A good billion a year, billion plus. That's nice.
Yep. Absolutely. So more good news, look, I'm excited about where we are on the price. I'm still kind of holding my breath a little bit on it, but I'm starting to see some of the folks that I follow start to get a little more positive and a little more bullish. So I'm starting to get a little more confident. I've set some alerts in the 42.5 range, where I might bail on a few things just to be safe. But overall things are looking pretty good. So,
oh wait, so okay, it's at 43.4 basically right now. So you have something set at 42.5?
I just have an alert set on the Etherbot thing that I use in Telegram. to let me know when it hits 42.5. If I see it's still continuing down.
ETH. Okay, I'm sorry. I was
no. Bitcoin at 42.5. The bot is just called Ether Drops. It's just a bot I use, but it tracks all.
So you're buying at 42.5?
No. I'm saying if the prices start dumping down another $1,000 to 42.5 when we were at 44 yesterday, I'm going to be a little concerned about whether it can maintain 40. And so I'm going to keep a closer eye on it at that point.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that they think it can hold 40. But I agree. I'm not really trading any BTC right now.
Well, I'm watching it for its impact across everything else. Like we're still correlated, unfortunately. So, I just feel like if it gets close to 40, I'm probably going to dump a lot of the things I'm in. I may dump sooner on some of them just to capture some cash. I've been more conservative of late. I've re-entered some farms and doing a few things here and there, and I'm taking profit every day. Like I'm just skimming off the top every day. And it's not a ton of money, but it just, makes me feel better to bank some shit. Yeah, and I'm banking it all in Frax and dumping it in that single-sided yield farm.
Yeah, we'll get you a little gas money.
There you go. Yeah, it gives me a little skiing money.
That's right. You got the ski trip coming up. Yeah, the only thing I see that kind of worries me a tiny bit is just you see a lot of media now about, how both Russia and the West are using crypto at different ways right now. And, I just don't want to pick up the narrative that it's all the Russians buying Bitcoin. I mean, that's the kind of thing I'm a little worried about from a regulatory standpoint.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's exactly what's going on.
Well, and that's look at Elizabeth Warren yesterday.
What'd she say?
Oh, she just pisses me off. Cryptocurrencies risk undermining sanctions against Russia, allowing Putin and his cronies to evade economic pain. U.S. financial regulators need to take this threat seriously and increase their scrutiny of digital assets. And, I got in a debate. I think it's a listener who has worked for Elizabeth Warren several years ago. And I don't have any respect left for Elizabeth Warren. And I lost all of it. I used to believe in her as someone who was fighting on behalf of the little guy against predatory banking and predatory lending. And I think she did a lot of good when she was doing that. But she is either too lazy or has an agenda that she's not willing to take the time it takes to understand what the power of cryptocurrency can be for the people she supposedly champions. So for me, I don't have any respect left for her. I really don't. I think a lot of her career has become posturing. And if you're not willing to do the research yourself, if you're not willing to understand something, but still willing to pontificate about how evil it is, then I don't have any respect left. So,
yeah, I've never really been a big Elizabeth Warren fan either. I mean, I know when she was, I think she was the one that was appointed to head up that Consumer Finance Bureau or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, the banks freaked on that and eventually drove her out of it. But, you look at a lot of stuff she talked about now, a lot of banks are eliminating overdraft fees, things like that, where, you might have $18, just making an example, $18 in your account, you go withdraw $20 and they let you take the 20 and then charge you like $85.
Yeah, exactly.
For overdraft in your account. And I think that
well, the average American has $3,000 a year in bank fees. The average middle class and lower American has $3,000 in bank fees, not just overdraft, all fees combined. So think about somebody that's making, $18,000, $20,000 a year, what that does to you, right? Yeah. I mean, it's a ludicrous system. So you would think somebody like Elizabeth Warren would take a closer look at something that circumvents the evil banks that she has spent her entire career bashing. So,
well, a lot of them are kind of, like I said, have been undoing those charges as of very recently.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So some stuff's coming, but what always threw me off on her, and I think this is true. So if I'm wrong, I invite anybody to DM Brad or me if I ever get to Twitter.
If I'm wrong, DM Brad.
Yeah, but I remember there was all this stuff about when she went to Harvard and claimed to be Native American.
Yeah.
And, whether that got her in or not, I don't know. I don't think she is.
Well, so no. So what happened was,
what was the story?
She had been, look, I'm willing to give her a break on this. I think it was a stupid choice in her past to utilize it when it was so minuscule, but she had been told all her life that she was Native American, that she had Native American blood in her, right? So by her parents and relatives, she had been told that. So I think she genuinely believed it. I don't think she made it up. I don't think she was lying about it. But the problem is that she was leveraging this very minuscule, that she thought was a minuscule amount of Native American blood to her benefit. And so now that came back to haunt her brand as a senator, because obviously it looks sleazy to be trying to claim that when, you know, there are Native Americans who could have taken the ride to Harvard or wherever. So I'm willing to give her a break on her being told that and believing it. So I don't usually hold that against her as much. The stupid thing was when she doubled down on it, right? No. Like when the controversy blew up, instead of saying, well, wait a minute, let me really take a look at this, she dove deeper into it and made further claims that she was, and maybe she was. I don't know what the end result of I think the end result of the genetics that they did was that she really had nothing. She had the same amount that any other American has. So that was stupid, badly managed situation, but I'll give her a break on having thought that her whole life or childhood or whatever. But
but look, just look in the mirror. I mean, it's like my daughter, she's half Hispanic, but she's blonde hair and blue eyed. And so when she checks applications, she, you know, here in Miami, they actually differentiate between Hispanics. There's white Hispanics and there's
white
Latino.
non-Hispanic.
Yeah. So because a lot of the Hispanics don't want to be associated with brown people, unfortunately, Latinos. And so they'll have that separate category here, predominantly Cubans.
First time I saw that, about fell the fuck over.
I was like, what the?
I was what the fuck is white, not Hispanic? No, Hispanic,
white Hispanic.
Yeah, Hispanic, non-white, white Hispanic, whatever. I was like, what the fuck, really? These people divide this up like this?
Yeah, so I mean, that's why it's very hard to, you know, people want to loop Hispanic and Latino into one big category in the US, but it's like South Americans, Cubans, Mexicans, it's like, you know, and mixes everywhere. So so what happened when she was applying to some programs and doing some interviews for last year, every time, you know, they had her in the Hispanic box, and so every person interviewing her was either African American or, you know, Latino. And so they look at her and it's like blonde hair, blue eyes. And thank God her mom was on the phone calls, but you know, she's white South American too. So it's you know, so I just kind of go, how does Elizabeth Warren really, you know, say that with a straight face? I mean, I think she used it to her advantage.
She did use it to her advantage when she was young to try to get a leg up. I get all that. We've all done shit we're not proud of. We make stupid mistakes. She stupidly doubled down on it. But my biggest thing with her is, number one, she's got a policy agenda that's mostly failed policies from the past.
Yeah.
And like, for example, right, like this whole idea of taxing the wealthy has failed miserably in 15 to 20 countries around the world, 100% of the time. It's not a way to salvage finance and an economy in this world. And she continues to advocate for it. I appreciated that she was somebody that went hard ass against the banks, and is probably the reason that the banks are still concerned and starting to lower the fees and feeling like their image is harmed. I totally appreciated that. I think that was something she did good in her career. I pissed off that she doesn't take the time to do the research and makes blanket negative statements when she obviously doesn't know what she's talking about. And you can consistently go through all of her comments about cryptocurrencies and find that she has no fucking clue what she's talking about. But here's the question. Does she care? Right? Is the agenda for her just to fuck cryptocurrencies because she thinks there's something bad about them, and so she doesn't give a shit if she's saying the truth or not? Or is she so uninformed that she's making those statements and she hasn't done the work to actually do the research and find out? And that either of those are unacceptable.
Probably both.
Yeah, either of those are unacceptable to me. So
she might be like just levering onto that FUD, that, you know, the environmental FUD and all the other crap. Hustle FUD.
do the fucking research. There's enough people talking about the fact that cryptocurrencies can benefit the poor and the unbanked that you can do the research and say, wait a minute, is this something that would be good for my constituents, the people I've been fighting for my whole career, supposedly? That to me is unforgivable.
Well, you should have your buddy who used to work for go in there and get an intern working on that for her. I mean, obviously she's not writing these tweets, it's some legislative assistant.
So the point is, don't make the comments until you know what you're talking about. So
yeah, exactly. No, good.
Anyway,
good stuff.
That's Elizabeth Warren. I am so going to do movie tickets with Doge. I can't wait to do it. I think it's going to be fun. I can't wait. I'm going to make my kids do it, go through that experience. So AMC Theaters is saying that it's coming. What was the date? March 19th. On their website, you'll be able to buy movie tickets. And I got a little AMC theater down the road here. So we're going to catch a flick with Dogecoin just for shits and giggles. I can't wait to do it. I think it's exciting that this stuff's going to happen.
At the Falls? Which one do you go to?
No, down here, Southland Mall.
Where's that one? I've never been to that one.
It's where I live. I live south of Palmetto Bay near Cutler Bay.
I was down by a couple of weeks ago. I was down at Coral Reef Park for a tennis tournament thing. And
Coral Reef Park's a nice park.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah. They're playing Palmetto. And so I went down there to check it out. And I was like, I don't ever get down there enough. I mean, it's nice down there.
Come to the burbs, buddy. Come to the burbs.
I thought I lived in them, but I guess I don't.
No, you don't live in the burbs. You live in the city. You're in the most central part of Miami.
No, I'm not downtown. I'm
but
the Gables area. Yeah.
I guess it's the most central part for those of us that live south anyway.
Right.
Eamon said, I loved Warren because of her attacks on the banks. But when she didn't realize the positive potential of crypto to defeat the banks, she instantly lost me. Yeah, me too, man. I just feel like she needs to put in the work. And that pisses me off that she makes statements without doing it. So anyway, I'm excited to buy some movie tickets with Dogecoin. I just think it's going to be fun. I wish they weren't doing Shiba, but whatever. But I think it's just cool. I like the idea of Dogecoin having this use. I love crypto being used in commerce. I think it's going to be, very good for the whole space. And it's just going to be a fun experience. So can't wait to do that. What else do I have here? $143 million in liquidations of short positions with this run. So that hurts some people.
Yeah, well, fuck them. Shorts? I don't give a shit. Just fucking kill them all.
It's like how many up and down liquidations do we have to have before fucking leverage shit is it's like, seriously, what? How many times you going to be liquidated before you find out that you're not good at this fucking leverage shit? Like, it's like, seriously, like,
unless they're hedging or something like that. And, trying to guess directional, how we're always trying to guess direction stuff.
Yeah, but you're leveraging one of the most volatile assets in the history of the world.
Yeah.
It's like, when do you think that's going to be I'm sure there's somebody that's an expert at this and is awesome at leverage trading Bitcoin, but to me, that's fucking terrifying.
So, yeah. And also, and these are already in the money shorts that are getting liquidated because, they're not like, when I used to do puts on equities and things like those options, I was going out of the money down to protect myself in case it just cratered.
Right.
The price is here. The price was here. I wasn't buying shorts here that are already in the money because that's when you get destroyed.
Yeah.
If you miss that, and using it as hedges, stuff like that in case the bottom dropped out. But in crypto, I don't, maybe go way out of the money for your like apocalyptic scenario.
Yeah. That I could see to an extent.
But I don't get why you lever up on in the money stuff because when that goes either way, that volatility, you're wiped out instantly.
And it's just too fast. Look at yesterday's fucking chart. That's why $143 million is liquidated because it moves so fucking fast. You can't save yourself. You can't even get to it in time.
Well, yeah, I'm looking at about 5:45 yesterday, East Coast time, afternoon.
Yeah.
It went from 41.7 to 44 in less than 15 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
So you go like, I don't know, crack a beer, Go listen to some music, go
Actually
play a
do
game.
some fucking work.
Yeah, boom, it's gone. That's dinner time too. That's dinner time, 5:45.
Exactly.
I mean, there was probably some shitty after meal conversations going on yesterday.
There's a lot more beer being
scotch?
drunk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't really ever get that either, man. But
yeah, I don't understand. I really don't.
But
get
somebody
it.
made money on it,
Oh,
everybody
sure.
else made money. So
yeah.
there's always a
absolutely.
counterparty.
Yeah.
So it's just, people think they're too smart. It kind of reminds me when I was young and I was playing, I used to always, we were playing craps up in Atlantic City. And there's always this happens in Vegas too, but there's always these guys that come in and they're always on the don't pass line, betting against everybody who's throwing the dice. And, of course they're filling you with drinks and stuff like that. And it's 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. And so you're like, fuck you, get that don't pass shit out of here. And then you're going 7, you're like, suck it. It's just like, it's the same thing. It's like, I don't know. I can't bet negative. I can't play negative.
It's hard for me. It really is. I'm pretty dedicated to long. So
because I believe in positive energy.
Yeah.
I could see the purpose of it. Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, to protect yourself, not so much the crap sale, but in calls and puts, but to hedge it. But as a naked play in the money shorts in crypto, that's just, that's like, Russian roulette with 3 bullets in the thing instead of 1.
I think I could do pretty well shorting stocks based on fundamentals. I think I could pick out a lot, especially in tech, things that I think would fucking don't deserve their, and I think we're going to see even more of that in the coming months. But yeah, no, there's just no way I'm going to take that chance in crypto.
That's been a hard one too lately, just because with all the stimmy money and QE money coming in over the last 12 years, the fundamentals kind of have been thrown out of the window. So it's kind of hard to, what shorts were when shorts work or when some kind of big force majeure event happens. Whether it's that it just takes out segments of the market and then turns, hundreds into zeros. That's when everybody starts dumping. But I think it's kind of hard to trade that tight right now because, Tesla doesn't really trade on anything fundamental.
No,
it's just like crypto.
Well, maybe some, but it's pretty volatile too.
Yeah, it's like, well, how much money do they lose?
Exactly.
Like, oh, we sold 15 million cars that each one cost us, a negative $1,000 to produce.
Well, I think they're actually in the money now.
But this has been going on for 10 years.
Prior to this,
not so much now.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yep. Let's see. What else do I have here? Oh, Bitcoin. Oh, the great flippening has occurred. So,
it has.
Well, Bitcoin has flipped the ruble.
Shitcoin. The ultimate shitcoin.
Moved up to number 14. I guess the ruble's at 15 since it's now less than a penny per ruble. Inside of like 72 hours. What was it?
I saw 0.85 this morning.
Okay. 0.085.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. Like 0.85 of a penny.
Okay. Yeah. So 85. So yeah. Okay. So,
No, it's rallying. It's 0.86 now.
Oh,
or if we want to do it properly, 0.0086.
And I was thinking about this when I was looking at this article earlier. It sucks for the Russian people. It just sucks, right? They're watching whatever savings they have wash away. They're standing in the world be decimated. It sucks that one dude can fuck so many people simultaneously. And unfortunately, I don't see any other way to handle it though. Right. I think it has to happen. I think you don't throw over dictators and you don't solve these problems unless there's some kind of squeeze. And unfortunately, there were people in that country that were celebrating a lot of the actions that he's taken over the years too. So anyway, it just sucks because I know there are a lot of Russians that think this is all crazy and insane by him and they don't support him in what he's doing. But they can't speak out, or if they do, they'll go to prison for 20 years. But
some have the guts. I mean, I see.
There have been some, but if you're sitting there pondering your life and protesting this guy and knowing that, you could be killed or taken to prison literally for 20 years. They just upped the sentencing for protesting. That's a tough thing to motivate around.
Yeah, I don't know.
To stand on the street with a sign.
Yeah, saying "Come get me," basically.
Exactly. I'm sorry.
I'm headed terrifying. To Suite 100 at Lubyanka prison.
I consider myself pretty principled, but going to prison for 20 years and not seeing my children is not on my agenda currently.
Yeah, no, I'm not my preferred outcome either. I mean, I think that way too. But look, this is a country that we really can't go head to head with militarily because we don't want to escalate it into nuclear exchange.
Yep.
So it has to be. We fought proxy wars against the Soviet Union in Nicaragua, Angola, Cambodia, Afghanistan, all those places. They fight them against us with Cuba, Venezuela. I mean, just go down the list. This is because they don't want to get into a direct exchange either. So the only way to change that is the people have to come up and take them out, basically.
Yeah.
Or the oligarchs. And we are seeing cracks there. But, as I said, a lot of Russians here in little Moscow up over in Sunny Isles.
Yep.
And, everyone I've met, they're normal people just like everybody else. And I haven't been talking politics to them at this point, but in fact, my daughter's main tennis pro is Russian, and she came out of that top tennis school in Moscow, and she's just a badass. And but again, she's a strong Russian type, so I'm pretty sure she's probably supportive. But I'm not going to, I get it, But the thing is that this is the only way to fight it. So whenever I think of, I feel sorry for the Russian people, then I think about the Ukrainian people, and I go,
yeah, of course.
I feel more sorry for them.
Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely.
But it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. I am surprised at the unity around this, though. I really am.
Dude, it's been amazing. Although I just saw today some bad news. I don't want us to go off on a total Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay away from it too.
But I did see bad news today that Poland and another country bailed on providing the fighters. Yes, they said they were providing yesterday.
Hungary, maybe.
Yeah, it may have been. I don't know, but
the thing is, I don't know where the airstrips are in the Ukraine where they would hide these things, because I think that would be a huge target instantly. So I don't know if it's a feasible thing to really donate fighter aircraft to the Ukrainians at this point.
Well, supposedly the Ukrainian pilots were in Poland yesterday to pick up the planes, and I guess they pulled the plug on it. So
yeah, it seems like it's going to be a suicide mission. I mean, I am surprised at these giant convoys rolling around, and that I'm hearing these like 60-mile long, 4-mile long, something like that convoys, and I just keep thinking of the Basra Highway of Death.
I know,
Gulf War, and I can't believe nobody's not popping the shit out of those.
Well, and they've been very successful with drone strikes for these Russian convoys, and I'm having a little difficulty understanding why they haven't all been deployed on these long ones. But especially if there are munition trucks along the way, right?
Yeah,
I'm sure they're disguised, but pick out the munition trucks.
No, there's a bunch of satellite imagery up. I mean, there's private companies publishing the imagery, the locations. I mean, and this is like just stacks of large trucks going down like basically single lane roads or 2-lane roads.
Right.
I mean, if you hit it at the front and the middle and the back, it's just all bottled up. They're just like, it's a turkey shoot at that point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but they must have some type of air cover or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that, Putin has to keep doubling down.
Yeah.
And eventually, he's gonna have to explain why he fucked this up. And when that happens, that's when, he's retired, as the Russians do.
Yeah, let's hope.
So, but look, it's just tough. I didn't really look at any news today on it just because I'm like, it's just too much sometimes.
Yeah.
We got too many other things to think about. And but it is interesting how the ruble is really the flippening. I love that.
Yeah,
how it is just funny. Going in a total shitter right now. It's kind of like I hear a lot of speculation. Everybody's like, well, wait, how did everybody just take like 2/3 of our foreign currency reserves? And I'm like, because you deposit it in U.S. and Western banks because your banks are shit. That's why.
And how are you not prepared? Like, you're about to fucking take this action. I
don't think they thought we would do it.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe that's it.
because that was their state. Because now they don't have that money to run the bailouts.
Yeah.
And so their runway, or their index is a lot higher, and the runway is a lot shorter.
Yeah.
Want to put it into like a Time or Olympus sort of analog. Yeah. All of a sudden, that treasury just got fucking neutered.
Chuck made this point, agree that it sucks. Counterpoint, they've had almost 20 years to get rid of this asshole, so kind of their fault. Yeah, I think so, but I wonder how real those elections actually were as well.
Yeah,
so.
They weren't.
No, yeah. So I don't know that they actually had a say in it. Let's see what else I got. Layer 2 address activity is slowing down. So the increase in the number of wallets on layer 2s is slowing down, except for Arbitrum, which I still have done nothing on. You played a little bit over there, didn't you?
I'm over there in Arby's Finance. I've had some decent pools, Cheems, Arby's. There's some other ones in there. I just haven't been able to get back a lot.
Yeah.
What's interesting is that your wallet, where it's like Polygon, it's Matic, and Ethereum, layer 1, it's Ethereum. Well, on Arbitrum, it's also Ethereum.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but very, very cheap. The gas fees are like nothing.
Right.
But I haven't seen a lot of traction there yet. I.e. token price go up. I haven't seen that much.
Right.
I got a boatload of them, but and they're just single stakes sitting there. I hadn't looked at it in like a month, and when I looked at it yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay, still going. But not the returns that you would see like on Phantom and Avalanche, places like that. I saw a lot of good activity in Blizzard Finance on AVAX. That went up 40% the last 2 days. Geist is up like 40% the last 2 days.
Yeah.
So, those are two that I really, really like. Kind of like mini Aves, but have some interesting wrinkles. Like you don't have to actually. It's like you keep it in your wallet, but you still earn platform fees on it, even if it's only in your wallet. You don't have to always deposit everything into the platform, which is cool to me because, if I was rolling in with say $500,000 in Bitcoin, I'm always going to be nervous about sticking that in somebody's platform because of exploits and hacks.
Sure.
But if it never leaves your wallet and you still earn platform fees, but it's available as collateral, that seems like a pretty cool solution.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if anybody hasn't done it yet, go look at Blizzard, go look on AVAX, and go look at Geist on Phantom.
Here's the chart. Look, every single chain, layer 2 or chain, is down in wallets except for Arbitrum, which is up 12.7%. So pretty interesting to see that BSC, Ethereum itself, and Phantom had the lowest declines. Ronin, Polygon, Avalanche, and Cello and Optimism all had pretty significant double-digit declines. So but that's also a product of the market conditions and people just kind of pulling out for now, and no growth. There's not going to be growth when the entire market's collapsed.
So this means that what this means is that in the last 7 days, nobody executed a trade or did anything from that wallet.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's more of that, like you said, that a lot of people just sitting tight.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've been doing. We've talked about that, So let's see. I'm not sure why I'm having a little trouble breathing there. That was weird. So 2.4 billion. They can't find the BitConnect founder. Well, there's a shocker. You wait, how many years to fucking go after him, and then you wonder how he disappeared with 2.4 billion? Give me a fucking break.
Wait, so which one is this now?
That's the BitConnect.
Are these the guys? This isn't the BitMEX one, that the two people that were seized.
No, those guys actually pled guilty. I think it was last week or week before.
Anyway. I did see that the gal is cutting a plea deal, evidently.
Yeah. So no, don't you remember BitConnect? That was that massive Ponzi scheme. Everybody in crypto is screaming publicly about it. This is a fucking Ponzi scheme. Like everybody was, and it was billions were piling into this fucking chain, and they were holding those cheesy ass events. And the founder, the guy they're looking for, would get up and say BitConnect and scream and yell, and all these people were just shocked when the whole fucking thing collapsed and these guys made out with billions of dollars. But it's like,
and so you make fun of me for my accent.
That's how he said it.
I know.
Look it up. So anyway, but what kills me is SEC now starts to look for this fucking guy. It's like, seriously, where do you think he is? I guarantee you, he is not look anything like he did before, because the plastic surgery, he had the money for that. And he's not going to be anywhere where you're going to find his ass. It cracks me up.
Well, when was it convicted? Was it just recently?
No, and it's actually, I don't think he's technically been convicted. He's been charged. I think there's a bad headline. But it's like, seriously, people, why are we taking this long? Maybe he was actually convicted. I'm not sure. Anyway, I just wonder why it took so long to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the FBI or the marshal's job to go find that guy.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they were, SEC unable to locate. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, I don't see why they would just let this guy be walking around.
It's crazy.
Without an ankle bracelet.
They should have gone after him, a few weeks after, or at least tracked him a few weeks after the whole thing collapsed, or during it. Like, it wasn't like the whole world wasn't screaming, Ponzi, 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 this thing is going to collapse. The entire world literally was saying, you're about to get fucked if you're in this. And
what year was that?
2018, 2017. Yeah, 2017, 2018. They pulled the rug in January 2018.
Oh yeah, that was about that was right after what BTC peaked in December 2017. Yeah, okay.
That's the day the music died, right there.
Yeah,
for all those poor people.
Yeah,
brutal. You know what? I haven't taken a deep enough dive into this, but other folks may be interested to check it out. This is a new insurance protocol for Avalanche. I can't advocate for it. I don't know enough about it, but they do talk about the fact that they have multiple layers of insurance and protection for on and off chain buyers. So folks may want to take a look. It may be something of value to you if you're trading heavily or investing heavily on Avalanche. I don't know what they are and are not covering in terms of protocols. I guess this is the icons of some of the protocols that they're covering, but they have a token. And I do think that insurance is going to be definitely a part of the game. So token price insurance, impermanent loss insurance coming in May, smart contract insurance coming in September, and then meta market insurance, aggregate insurance from other protocols, build all-in-one insurance market. Oh, so they're going to cross-chain. Anyway, degis.io if it's something you're in the market for. And let's see, that is everything on my list. I did see this protocol FloorDAO, but I haven't looked at it enough. But it is a market-making protocol for NFTs to give deep liquidity to NFT markets. I need to take a bigger look at it, but it sounds pretty interesting. It might be something worth taking a deeper look at.
Yeah, that does sound pretty cool.
Chuck says Arbitrum has sketchy performance day plus clearing times sometimes. Wow, that's pretty ugly.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I haven't either, but possible. And Eamon said, didn't Putin limit a few years ago? He had a term limit a few years ago and said, no, I'm changing the Constitution and stayed in power during Trump's reign. I think he actually put a puppet in place.
Medvedev.
Yeah, and then the puppet changed to something so that he could come back. I don't know.
Well, I think what happened is that, and I might have the titles backwards, but I think Putin was president and then the term limit on president. So then he was prime minister after that, but Medvedev was president for a term.
I got it. Okay.
And then he came back and ran again. And I think he did a term or two. And then they changed the Constitution to give him, unlimited terms.
There you go. All the signs of a dictator.
Yeah. I mean, Xi's doing the same thing in China.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it used to be a tradition is just 2 terms. And he changed all those rules. So, I mean, that's just what happens in these authoritarian governments where there aren't checks and balances that, despite it looking severely messy, keep this shit from happening here or in Europe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the one thing about democracy is the founders intended it to be, as I like to say, delightfully inefficient. And you don't want it to be organized, because when it's organized, you get shit like Putin and Xi. You want it sort of, nobody gets everything they want. Everybody gets some of what they want. And you have to compromise. And if you don't want to compromise, that's when it stops working. And I think we saw a recent example of that, whether you were for it or against it, but you can't, expect to have the basic rights that you have to protect yourself from autocratic dictatorships without checks and balances. And it's frustrating on both sides. I mean, you see the progressives scream about it all the time. Obviously, the right wing screams about it all the time. But at the end of the day, it's the middle that gets it done. So,
yep. Well, I could use a little less fragility in our democracy, but I'm not going to get into that today. So,
roll the tanks.
No, I just these kind of arbitrary things that we have in our transfers of power make me a bit nervous. But
well, to me, I think the couple of things I find very interesting is the Electoral College, and that you look at a state, and I'm not picking on Wyoming, but I think the population might be 500,000 people, but they get 3 seats in the Electoral College, or they get 3 Senate and 2 House members. Then look at California. So what's that? That's like 1 seat, 1 vote per, say, 100,000 and something people. You look at California, which has, I think, 45 House members and maybe 2 senators, so 47. But their population is like 45 million or something.
Yeah.
So it's like 1 vote per million people. And, that just shows you that there's kind of a stranglehold in the smaller rural states or less populated states. They have outsized influence on the political process. And it really wasn't intended to be that way. When the Electoral College was formed or written in the Constitution, there were only 13 states. So it was, everything from Georgia.
Well, the intention was to give representation to the slave states. That's why the Electoral College was the slave states wanted to have the power and didn't want the free states to be able to overrule on the slavery position. And so they were given that vote, that power.
Well, because most of more than half of the population of the slave states was slaves.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. And, of course, 100% of the population of the other states were voting people. So, when you start doing everything per capita because slaves weren't counted as citizens, obviously, then you're right. You can just unilaterally change the rules against all the slave states.
Yep.
But that was the big compromise to get everybody on board for the Declaration of Independence.
And we like to hold on to our traditions.
Yeah. But, that's why when I look back on stuff now, I kind of go, there's a lot of movement to fix that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of movement in different areas that where these different institutions have been handicapped or hamstrung. Everything from the UN Security Council down to different aspects of, how our democracy works. And, those need to be adjusted and modernized in ways that are still fair. But, I don't think that, personally to me, I think that, when you look at, say, the urban centers, which I think generate about 90% of GDP, whereas everything else is 10. So 10% of GDP effectively has a stranglehold on 90% of GDP. And that's productivity in this country.
Yeah.
So that's just not fair. I'm not saying it should be 0.
Right.
But I think it should be, maybe, there should be more weighting toward the bigger producers in some way, shape, or form without stomping on the rights of others. And that's always the challenge in this system is how do you do that? And, and I don't know the answer.
No, I don't either.
We luckily have a bunch of brilliant friggin' politicians to figure it out for us. Sarcastic.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah. And you can't just, for like things like, I believe in universal basic income just for showing up here and being part of the platform. I think you should have some kind of a hedge against total catastrophe. But when you look back in history and you look at, like, say, the mines in West Virginia and who ran those, those were like slave camps too. I shouldn't use that word because that's a unique abomination, but these were, sweatshop type. They were economic prisoners. There was nowhere to go. And if they didn't go work, big bunch of goons would come in and start shooting people. Same at the auto companies. They were the same way. So steel companies, when they went off, the empire builders from New York went off and, started mills or auto factories in Detroit or mills in Pittsburgh or mines in Colorado. They were robber barons, man. Yep. It wasn't like they were given health insurance and universal basic income. They were just, it was like the Matrix. These people were just batteries for them to suck the power out of. So, we don't have that now as much, but you know, there's always going to be that conflict in the system between, you know, what's the, you know, how do you give some basic thing to people? But, you know, then at the same time, if you're in that position and you're the new people into the Ponzi scheme or the MLM marketing pyramid, you got to like educate your kids and get them out of that shit. And that's what doesn't happen as much as it should. So, you know, at the top, people inherit a bunch of money, and that's, what is it? What's that saying? Shirt sleeves in 3 generations or something like that. That like people that there's a thing where somebody makes a shit, like, let's say you, you know, pull it off and make a whole shitload of money. They say like within 3 generations, your kids will have pissed it all away, and your grandkids, and they'll be back in wherever, you know, slugging it out somewhere, grinding it out, because nobody plays it smart. They keep trying to get more, and they risk it, or they get on drugs or alcohol, or they do stupid shit, or they, you know, are just fucked up mentally, feel guilty or something for having all the money, and then it's all gone. Yeah. So, you know, there are no legacies in this country. And that's why when you see how the tax laws have all changed as of late, and, you know, these families try to hold on to the money, you know, just look at like the Sacklers, for example, you know, that their names are all over every single museum in the country, and they're big benefactors. But, you know, I mean, go kill off a couple 100,000 people and cost the country $100 billion and whatever, and people eventually get pissed and, you know, come after you. So, you know, I mean, they have more money and it's all stashed overseas, so it's not like they're going to be poor, but that's an example of a misstep. And, you know, that's kind of, I think we have to sort of think long and hard about those types of things in this country. But like you said earlier, I don't think you can go and just levy a tax on the super rich. That doesn't solve the problem.
Well, they're not going to pay it.
No, they're not. And they control the government. So let's influence the government. Exactly. So they're not going to happen. The only way you do it is by scaling up from the bottom and creating wealth. Yep. What's the best way to create wealth right now in this country? Crypto.
That's it.
So think about
it. All right, I'm done, dude.
Yeah, only thing I had to say was I saw Terra Luna. We were talking about the stable coins earlier, UST. You know, it's up 24% in the last day. The Luna token is. And then I saw some blowback. You know, El Salvador's Bitcoin gamble draws crypto tourists, but angers locals. And so I don't know what the hell that means. It's a paywall thing, but I guess it's, you know, everybody's all these, because, you know, they have that new citizenship thing down there. I think if you come in and invest 400,000, you get El Salvadoran citizenship. So, and I don't think they have any taxes on crypto. So there's a lot of people heading down there for that. And, you know, I'm doing that on the fringes of that NFT project down there around a real estate development on the beach at El Tunco, which is a big surfing destination. So, and I saw the renderings of the site, you know, the architectural renders. It's beautiful. Nice. Once they get their shit together and the guys I'm with get the contract signed, you know, we'll get them on the show because there's actually a lot of opportunities for people with stacks of crypto. And I'm primarily speaking to those that aren't Americans at this point, to go in there and buy real estate in a condo development on the beach. And it's a sassy looking building. I mean, it's like a South Beach, Miami kind of looking development. But then you could also pick up another citizenship for yourself. There you go. You know, if you don't want to repatriate your gains back to, you know, wherever you are, that's an option. So we'll have them on the show, everybody can know. And there's going to be NFT auction, you know, talking about gotcha and things like that. So it'll be fun. But, you know, again, there's probably, you know, I look at this headline and I'm going, is this FUD or is this real, you know, kind of thing. And one other thing, did you see the article on the Signal guy, you know, Signal versus Telegram? And so the Signal guy comes out, you know, and I use Signal too. I use Telegram a boatload, but I also use Signal. And, you know, the way I always looked at it is the difference, you know, with Signal is it's end-to-end encryption from your phone to the other device, the phone. Right. It goes through the servers encrypted. Nobody can see it. Well, Telegram is encrypted to the server and then re-encrypted from the server to the next device. It's not end-to-end. So the Signal guy comes out and he's bitching about Telegram saying, oh, the Russians could just come in and influence the developers and seize the servers and all this shit. And I'm reading this and I'm like, this fucker thinks that they have servers in Russia and employees in Russia. I mean, Pavel Durov was basically had to flee the country and Putin like gave him the big shakedown to buy the product. And the people who use Telegram, it's like dissidents in Iran and Hong Kong, and, and of course, right wingers in the U.S. too. But, they move around. I think right now they might be in Dubai or Abu Dhabi. And, I think he picked up some Nevis citizenship or something like that. And there's a couple of really good articles on him, how like different groups try to recruit his developers. So he pays them astronomical sums. I mean, I've heard like 20 million a year, so that they can never get, bought off by any kind of whatever.
Yeah,
actors.
Somebody coming after him.
Yeah, well, so and it was just stupid to hear a Signal guy saying that, not even know how his competitor product worked.
And I'm pretty damn sure that when you go into private mode in Telegram, that is end-to-end direct peer-to-peer encryption. I believe that's what's established then, is a handshake of peer-to-peer direct, but I could be wrong.
Maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, interesting.
Well, what's cool with that too is that how you can disappear the messages.
Yeah, of course.
So, but you can also delete. This is just in Signal and Telegram that I like. If you're in a group chat and you start talking about one thing, you don't want to talk about it anymore, you can just delete the messages, delete them off everybody else's devices too. Yeah. They're gone. Yeah. But on Signal, when you delete it, it shows up on the other device as deleted message.
Oh, nice.
So then they're all like, what the fuck was he deleting?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah. I just think it's silly. Signal's a great product. But
I don't use it. I only use it when I have to, and somebody's tied to it. Otherwise I don't use it.
Who am I in with those groups? Oh yeah, I guess that's some other stuff. But yeah, I don't do that with you. You're off on the fringe with my Telegram crew. But a lot of the Americans use Signal because they don't really understand how Telegram works.
Which is amazing to me. I think it's the best interface of any of the chat products.
Well, go ahead. What were you?
Discord. I had an interview last night with the Spirit Swap guys, but the interview will not be coming out until the end of the month when their version 2.0 comes out. So some alpha that isn't alpha, because it's not going to be specific, is they are doing so much cool shit in this new version. I am fucking blown away. Just like so many things that you and I have complained about DeFi in the past, and some really innovative protocol work. So anyway, impressive stuff coming. So excited for what they're doing.
What's their token at right now?
No idea.
Yeah, look, I've been in and out of this one a bunch too. And again, it's one of the two main exchanges on Phantom. The other one's Spooky Swap. And I always like Spirit Swap better. Just because it seemed easier to use to me, more intuitive.
They're going to have a new UI. It's being rewritten from scratch, the entire system. So they will no longer be forks of other products. And the things that they will be launching with it are really impressive. And will do a lot, I believe, to cement their leadership position in the protocols or in the chain. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I see it. It's at 18.7 cents.
Yeah.
So I think I saw it as low as 6 or 7.
Yeah, and the InSpirit model, their other token, their governance token, obviously gives you a chunk of the revenue coming in from fees. So lots there to be utilized. Anyway, good guys. I love talking to those guys. They're just good people. So.
Yeah, definitely worth it. Anybody who hasn't to go examine it, because they have a lot of other cool products on the site too.
Yep.
Beyond that, that's good to hear. I think that is it for me.
I'm out, man. Hey, thanks so much, everybody. We love you guys. We appreciate you listening, watching, etc. If you have ideas, thoughts, comments, please don't hesitate to DM me at B05Crypto on Twitter, B05Crypto on Telegram, B05Crypto #2143 on Discord. All channels are open to you to reach out. Give me your ideas. Give me your thoughts. We have some exciting shit coming up soon, I believe, soonish.
You think Spirit Swap's going to be great. Wait till you see what's coming.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please rate, review, and subscribe us. Let your friends know about us. You can give us a thumbs up on YouTube and hit the bell for your subscription. And please, if you get the opportunity, take the time to go to Apple Podcasts and review us there. Thank you very much, Joe. Have a great afternoon.
You too. Bye, everyone. Stick
Take
around,
care, everybody.
All right, cool. All right.